How are you?
I am fine. How are
Good.
you?
Can you hear me? Good. Alexa, off. I was getting some good music there. Hey, I love that background. Lovely. Hey, come on in. Hey, Mark, how you doing?
Hi.
Good to see you. Good to see everybody. I know when everybody starts coming in, it's going to get noisy, so we're not going to be able to chit chat. But I just wanted to say, hey, Gina. Hey, Tanya. Hey, Daryl. Good to see everybody. Relette. Alyssa, that background is fabulous. I want to go back there and order something to eat.
It's the Stanley Hotel in Estes Park, Colorado.
At Colorado, is that where you are?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Raylette, where are you?
In Arizona.
Arizona. Okay. Mark, I know you're in New York, right? Not in New York? You got out of there, huh? Come on in, everybody. Come on in. Yeah. Hey, Michelle. Good to see you. Everybody looks good. Cheryl, how you doing? How are you? Yeah, we probably should keep mics on mute in case your dog runs through or your boyfriend yells something to you that we don't need to hear. So mute yourselves as you come on in. And it's so good to see everybody here. You know, oh, hey there, come on in. What have you guys been doing? How are you surviving? How are you dealing with this? Let's get the chat going. At least we can write some chats. If you want to say something, then by all means, raise your hand and let me hear, how are you dealing in this coronavirus lockdown? What are you thinking? How are you dealing? What's going on? Who wants to talk? Hey, everybody, come on in. Come on, Michelle, tell me. I'll unmute you. Tell me how have you been handling all of this?
Actually, I've been handling it really well. I usually have anxiety and it's flipped around for me. I've been building up my social media and writing my books, all kinds of stuff.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, so Michelle is using this time
Auntie Bro.
to build up her social media and to write her book. I think that's amazing. Let's see what you got going on here. Is it EVTV?
Yeah, but my real name's Doreen. How are you?
I'm good. How are you, Doreen? Where are you calling in from?
New York, Long Island.
Of course, New York. So what have you been doing and what have you been thinking about during this time?
I also am trying to write a book of short stories.
Wonderful. Can I tell you guys, and I'm so proud, destiny lingers. This was one of the things, and I see some claps out there. I think y'all have read this book. I'm so happy. And if you haven't, please do. You know, I have to tell you, when I wrote this book, I was unemployed. I was basically on the beach, and the beach kept getting longer and longer as I was waiting for jobs. And this started off as a hobby. My book started, you know, when I'd go to the beach, my friends would bring a book to read, and I would bring this book that I was writing. And at the end of the beach day, I would sit with my friends. They'd say, read, you know, what you wrote. And after a while, they were like, well, what's going to happen? What's going to happen? And people were so enthusiastic about the story that I said, I've got to keep writing it. So Michelle, I went to EV. I went to workshops. I worked with 10 women, and we'd meet every other week, and we'd read 2 to 10 pages of something we worked on that week. Accountability partners, that's what we're going to talk about today. How important it is to have accountability and a good tribe, you know. Look, in this community right here, Michelle and Evie already know they're going to be the new authors of the group. So you can support each other. Exactly. So when you're boosting your social media, you find EVTV and get a little boost going on there. Anybody else want to talk about maybe something wonderful and exciting happened? Listen, we're all locked up. Can you believe this is the way we're going to be communicating from here on out? It's a whole new world. But hey, that's the way it is. Anybody else have any great revelations or anything that's going on? Are you totally depressed? Are you finding time to do things you've never done? Are you thinking about a new life when this cloud lifts? Anybody want to speak on that? Come on, Daryl, talk to me. Unmute yourself.
Can you hear?
Yeah, I got you. We
All
got
right.
you.
All right. I'm developing a book that I bought the rights to, a novel. I'm going to develop it into a screenplay, got a writer, and I've just been really working on that.
I tell you, I don't know about you, Daryl, but when we talk about reinvention, and that, it can be anything. And I think it's exciting to talk about it now because it's everything. I mean, from the way we're wearing our hair to, things that are important, what we're spending money on. And even when, I don't know about you, but I didn't have a lot of time when I was working day to day to get the book stuff done. I mean, who had time to do that? And as we talk about reinvention, you're absolutely right, because Destiny Lingers is going to be reinvented also. Audio book is coming out. I'm sitting at home. I got a microphone and a computer. Put that thing on audio book while I have the time to sit down and read my book to myself.
Amen.
And then, I'd like to write a screenplay too.
Okay.
So then I become, listen, this is what I say. I say, then I become like the Beyonce of literature, a triple threat. You can be an author, you can be the audio, you can do, but it just keeps developing. And then Daryl and Evie and Michelle and everybody else who wants to write a book, then you'll be out giving speeches on it. You'll be, and now you can, look, the book tour that used to cost you all that money to travel all over the place that you had to book, you sit right here and do it.
That's right.
Let me tell you this. I reinvented myself again today. And I'm going to surprise and tell y'all that in a minute. People are still coming on in. And I just, first of all, want to say thank you all for being here. Thank you for sure. Today, I want to talk about, I guess, I just want to exude the enthusiasm that I have for recreating. I love that word, recreation, because it also looks like recreation. Because I do believe that change should be fun, that change can be good and change can be fun. And, it's something that they used to call me schizophrenic long time ago when everybody was trying to keep women in boxes and shut up. And I was trying to do all these different things. And today it's called multiple streams of income. It's called interest. It's called living my life to the fullest, using the gifts that God gave me. I always say that by the time I end this life, my epitaph's gonna say all used up, because I'm gonna use every gift that I have before I check out of here. And I'm going to tell you, for many times, those gifts have saved my butt. I mean, a lot of times I would change careers because of boredom or because I just wanted to try something new. And then a lot of times it was because my butt was against the wall. And I think that in this time of coronavirus and we're locked up and we're a lot of people it messes with your head sometimes. A lot of us, our jobs are not going to be the same. Nothing is going to be the same. You're lucky if your job is still there, but you'll have to reinvent the way you do your job. And you might have to reinvent your appreciation for it. But if you are in a situation where you also feel this could be the chance of a lifetime, while I've got the time on my hands and I can do the research and I can take the time to really clarify what I really want in life, I look at this as a marvelous time. Now, yeah, look, we all have bills to pay. Listen, all of us have a little something. Somebody's waiting like this, all of us. But I do believe that in the time that we have, that we can think about a brighter future or using those gifts that we haven't used, another stream of income. My side hustles, y'all know them as careers now, but you didn't see me when I was side hustling. I was telling somebody the other day, I said, one of the reasons I started off as a voiceover actor is because, we faced one of the biggest strikes in Hollywood after I had given up my talk show and the news business and had come out to Hollywood to act. And then the writers went on strike. It was the longest strike in Hollywood, 9 months. I went from being an internationally syndicated talk show host to serving pizza to my union members on a picket line and had to recreate. And I said, well, back then I could call 411. Y'all remember when you called 411 and asked for a number? And I called, hey, Julia, Hey, Pamela, I called 411 and the operator would go, is this Rolonda? The Rolonda? And I was like, well, if they know my voice, well, my God. Well, I came to Hollywood, thought it would be easy. I had to take workshops. I had to learn the craft, but I was determined to use God's gift. I've always had a voice. I've been speaking in complete sentences since I was 11 months old. And this big old raspy voice sometimes works more than I do. But it was a time where I really had to say, listen, nothing's happening in production. What else do I have? What else can I learn about myself that I can share as a valuable something to the world? And let me tell you what just happened today. I just got my books. Here's some other book, Curious George. Y'all know I'm Professor Wiseman on Curious George. And I said, well, why not read books to kids while we're all locked up? You know, I'm going to promote Curious George. I've been on that show almost 20 years. Can you believe I've been Professor Wiseman that long? And I said, well, well, we're locked down. Kids are my audience. How can I build my brand even further? Well, I got all the best little books and I'm going to read them and help my little nieces and nephews and their parents calm down during this time. Mm-hmm. You know, I think that'll be fun. And maybe, you know, maybe you start sharing some of your writing online. You never know where that might take you, but I'd love that you're already thinking about that. For those of you who have no idea who I am, let me just tell you, I'm Rolonda Watts. I grew up in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, and a lot of you guys probably know me as a talk show host. If you're on the East Coast, you might have known me as a news reporter, an anchor woman back in the day in New York City. I was covering the mob and mayhem and murder all back in the days of the 80s and AIDS. We were one of the first to break those stories back when Donald Trump was a businessman chasing women. We were covering him too, all of those stories. And then I did a talk show on Lifetime Television. You understand there were only 3 networks back then. And then Lifetime Television came along as a women's network. And I was one of the first shows over there on Attitudes many years ago. We did the show 9 months and then it was canceled. And I had given up my whole news career to go do this talk show and it was canceled in 9 months. And I was like, oh my God, what am I gonna do? And then one day I got a phone call. I just bought a house and a car. I was like in trouble. And then I got a phone call from Roger King, the man who founded Oprah, who put Wheel of Fortune, Jeopardy, Inside Edition, American Journal, all of those on the air. And he said, Rolonda, I want you to do a talk show. And I said, what? I'm a news reporter. No, you already have an Oprah. You don't need me. What do you want to do that for? And he said, because you have so much more to say than in a minute and 30 seconds. And I said, well, yeah, I don't know. And for years, I wouldn't think about it. And then I said, I don't know. He said, well, then come do Inside Edition. So then I went and I did News Magazine for Inside Edition, senior correspondent, weekend anchor and producer. And then Roger King came to me again. He was producing another show that wasn't doing well. He knew that I was good at live TV. He said, I need you on the air in 2 weeks. You know, most shows have a year and a half to even find out what kind of show they're going to be, do a pilot. We didn't even have a pilot. I would go from Inside Edition studio right across the hall to the new Rolonda studio. We had no idea what we were doing. And somehow we just kept reinventing the show. The show was like 8 different shows before we figured out what we were really doing there. But we were reinventing on our feet, changing, trying to keep up. And then when it got to a point where people were throwing chairs, y'all remember the 90s, people were throwing chairs, breaking noses, spitting on people. I said, this isn't where I want to put my gifts. Mm-hmm. So I made a tremendous decision that after 4 years to go and do something that was more in line to what I felt what my talents need to be. And I can't go back to Spelman College and Columbia University and my mom and daddy and tell them that I'm doing Jerry Springer. I'm sorry, I can't. I love you, Jerry, but I just can't do it. So I had to recreate myself. I had to say, what can I do now? I had left the news, the talk. I had always wanted to be an actor, and that's what a lot of people never knew. I'd studied theater arts at Spelman College, always wanted to be an actor, but when I, Spelman, But when I got out of, hey, Nicole, you're looking pretty in that orange, girl. But when I got to, you know, at the end of this talk show thing, I said, you know what? I remember that little girl at Spelman. And I remember she always wanted to go in theater arts. And I remember in the 70s, there was no place for anybody who looked like me to work. Spike Lee was in college with me. He hadn't done his thing yet. Bill Cosby wasn't on the air. There was nobody place for me to work. And as an actor, I mean, maybe Broadway, but I'm not a singer dancer type. So I was like, okay. So that's when I fell in love with journalism. Went that route. I forgot the point I was trying to make there. But the point is that when I finished my talk show, I remembered the girl in college. And I said, you know, you've done a great job with journalism. You've gone and done the talk show. You've done well with your money. It's your time to do what you really want to do. Now, you may go out to Hollywood and fall flat on your face. That's okay, because the year that I came out here in 1998, they were talking about women weren't working and blacks weren't working. And they were like, okay, yeah, the perfect time to go into the storm row. But I was like, no, I have to represent the difference. I have to represent a change. And sometimes we do things because there's that little kid in us that has wanted that thing all of their lives. And then families got in the way. And then that 9 to 5 got in the way. And then you got to pay them bills got in the way. And then this got in the way. And you never had that chance to make that little girl happy. And I said, you know what? I'm not going to end this life with my sentences beginning with, I should have. If I fail, so what? I'm going to learn something from it. But the biggest fear I had was what would happen if I didn't do it. Now, this was 1998. I hadn't even started a voiceover career yet. I hadn't even started on Sister, Jamie Foxx Show, Steve Harvey, and all the rest of those yet. I hadn't even started that. I hadn't even written my book yet. I hadn't become a speaker, motivational speaker yet. Look at all the things that's happened since then. Reinvention. And like I said, a lot of it came from having to survive and thrive and being happy, because there are jobs I've had, and I'm sure you've had them too, where you felt like, if I have to get up one more day and go to this place, I'm going to just jump off this building. And sometimes that's enough of a stimulus to recreate yourself. We're going to talk about 5 of the biggest pitfalls, I call it, that get us stuck in just a bit. And maybe some of you are going through that. I mean, how are you feeling right now in terms of just what your dreams are? I'm sure that somebody's got their, mute yourself, everybody. Everybody mute yourselves. Is everybody muted? Okay, there we go. Thank you. But just think about, because you're here, you're obviously interested, and I hope you're motivated to start that process of reinvention, recreation. What are some things that have held you back at this point? Is there something that you're feeling like, thank God I'm free enough to go for this? I mean, is there something, anybody want to speak? If you raise your hand, I'll be able to find you there. Just where you are in terms of, you know, when this coronavirus hit and everything changed, all of a sudden I started thinking, what? Gina, you want to speak? Come on, let me unmute you. Go on, Gina.
Hi, good evening, everyone. So when coronavirus started, I had 2 thoughts. Am I going to lose my job? And also, what's going to happen between my family and all of my family members? Everything worked out well. Everything is working out well. And then one day I saw Rolonda on an IG live, and my entire life changed. All of my dreams are flourishing. All of my dreams are coming true, actually, and true and through. And then I had a conversation a couple of weeks ago with a really good friend of mine who lives up in the Cape. And she asked me to send her one of my, I started writing a book a couple of years ago, actually like 10 years ago, and just stopped. And I sent it to her, and she said, you have to continue this. This is fascinating. And every week we're meeting so that I can work through that writing as well. And so it just feels like everything is coming together, everything that was put on hold for years and years. So I don't know, I say fortunately, the pandemic came right on time for me, because I was able to just stop and focus on me And what I'd like to do, my family is great. Everybody's fine. That's all I really like. Okay, don't go out, wear your mask. But for me, it's the first time that I've actually taken care of me and what I want to do, and not just focusing on paying bills. And I have my career, yes, but I can actually see that dwindling and me focusing more on my passions. And, like Rolanda said, sometimes I had to go to college. I had to go forward in college, and that wasn't a choice. And I had to do what everybody else wanted me to do in my family because of our culture. And now it's about me, and it's been so amazing and so fascinating. So I would encourage everyone to please, please, please just take a few minutes, and just think about what you want to do. And I promise you that God, the universe, whatever you call them, Allah, Buddha, they will. The minute you put that thought out to the universe, it's going to happen. And this is the time, because we have the time. Where are we going?
That's right. That's true. But Gina, I love your attitude, and Gina is flourishing in my voiceover coaching. I mean, you're going to be hearing her on some animations, by the way. Somebody just asked about the Curious George book. This I ordered on Amazon. It's the 7 original books. And honey, they got Curious George, everything from flying kites to alphabet, going to the hospital, getting a medal, getting a job, stuff like that. Keep the kids interested and keep them interested in reading. Gina, get on that book. I tell you, I'm always getting embarrassed to tell people how long it took me to write Destiny Lingers, because it was, like I said, it wasn't even a hustle. It was a hobby. And I just picked it up, and years would go by, and then I'd find it on summer vacation and go, oh, okay. And then it won the B.B. Moore Campbell Award for excellence in storytelling. Dr. Maya Angelou endorsed that book. And trust and believe, I felt like, does anybody really want to hear what I have to say? Do they really care about, this couple that couldn't be together because of segregation, and then time moved on, but destiny lingers and they got together? Who knew that at the time my book came out, the movie Loving came out, about the first couple, interracial couple. We're also talking about love and class and race. It gave me an excellent opportunity to become a speaker, going out, not just speaking about my book, but also talking about race relations and class relations in America, and how art can tell difficult stories and get people talking about difficult topics. It put me in the lane of talking about race on CNN. So you see where things just kept going and going. Every time I talk to somebody who's successful, I say, what is the key to it? Inevitably, it comes back around to, I sat and I thought about it. I strategized, I angled it, but I thought it through. I thought about it. I don't know about you, but when the coronavirus wasn't here, I didn't have time to think a lot. We're just on remote control and automation and not thinking, is this really what I want to leave as my legacy? Is this really how I want to spend my energy? Are these people I really want to be around? So I think there's been a lot of reevaluation. And Gina, you're doing great. And I love that you are so excited and enthusiastic about your life right now. Who would ever dream that in the middle of a pandemic, you could actually be happy? We're making it happen, people. Making it happen. That's right. Oh, Michelle, that's going to be our little thing. Making it happen. Anybody else want to share some revelations? Or maybe, okay, come on, Cassie. Cassie's another, we got a lot of writers in here. I love this. Okay, unmute yourself, honey.
Okay,
You
can
go.
you hear me?
Yes,
Okay.
Hey, Cassie.
I really needed this. I just got out of a marriage that I was in last year when you were doing this. And that person was not at all a motivator, a cheerleader, just was jealous. And
see what our reinvention retreat did.
Right. But I had to get out for me. And so you asked me if I had a piece about this. And so if you've got 90 seconds, can I share this with you?
Yes, can you save it till the end?
I will.
Save it.
But I'm doing the book thing. I'm finishing up my novel, which I've gone off and on with for forever. I've got children's books that I'm working on. And so this is my time. And if not now, then when? I am freaking 65 years old. So, yeah, let's do this. Yeah.
You're looking good, Cassie.
Well, you know, we got to try to hold it together. And I'm just trying to keep up with you, sweetie pie, because you're just so gorgeous. But at any rate, yes, I am grateful for the opportunity for you to share with us, to help us, you know, traverse that chasm that seems to be in our way, that we can't get out of our own way. You know, sometimes we stand in our own way.
You better believe it.
Yeah.
Nobody can do to us what we do to ourselves.
Yeah.
I mean, there are times, I mean, even I go through stuff. I really, it's a choice every morning to be positive. I always try to be consistently positive. I always try to be grateful. But I tell you, there are times, and we all have it, when you get those voices in your head, or you wonder if it's, I mean, even getting ready to do the webinar. I've been working my can off to get this webinar ready for y'all. And they were like, do you really have anything to say? I'm like, you've reinvented yourself 20 times. That's how many times I could count. And I'm like, that is the joy of my life. And I know those times when you feel stuck. I have been there where you feel unappreciated and irrelevant. You know, and a lot of us are like empty nesters now, or like Cassie, you know, you wake up and say, I don't like living with this person anymore. And I'm happy to see when we make changes that make us happy. My whole thing is, the bottom line of what we're supposed to be here on this earth is happy. And these are part of those things. We were talking about, you know, last year, Cassie brought up that we were here last year, and Cassie was timidly talking about her poetry at the time. Now she's ready to perform. See what a difference a year make, okay? That's what I'm talking about. All right. But it's really ironic, and this is why this reinvention retreat and the webinars are so on my heart, is because last year, and Cassie, you remember the exact same time last year. That's what's so crazy. The exact same time last year, I launched this reinvention, ROLONDA'S Reinvention Retreat, because this is how it all started. I put out on Facebook, because I was looking for some more side hustles, and I talked to my mama in North Carolina. I said, Mama, I got to come up with something else to do. And she said, well, now you need to be teaching. Everybody in the family is a teacher. You know, I have grandparents. My great-great-grandfather founded Bennett College. My mama's a dean. My daddy's the chairman of the fine arts department. Everybody's a teacher but me. I'm the actor. And she said, you can teach. And I said, well, what would I teach? So I got online. I said to Facebook, I said, just got off phone with my mother. And she said I should be a teacher. What should I teach? So people said, oh, voiceover. You should teach people how to start a podcast. You need to start how to produce a film, how to write a book, how to do But what kept coming up, recurring, is how do you continue to reinvent yourself and make it look seamless? And I thought, see, that's the thing, because you have I wrote down all the things I've done, and I think it's 20. News reporter, magazine reporter, voiceover actor, talk show host, TV and radio, author, actor, speaker, comedian, MC, CEO, coach, teacher, podcaster, producer. Every single one of those things I love. People say, what do you like the most? I can't. They're like my children. I can't just choose one. I like them all. But what I'm trying to learn to do in this time of reinvention is to really put the foot on the hammer here and drive home a couple of, like, one or two good things that I'm really serious about. My voiceover career, because I can still do that from home. Honey, I'm setting up voiceover booths in my closet, okay? Because we can do that from home now, right, Gina? Gina, by the way, I found somebody who may have a mic for you, by the way. But, you know, we're making it happen. Whatever we have to do, we make it happen. Let's look at some of the the reasons. Anybody got some ideas of what are the top pitfalls that keep us stuck? What's kept you stuck? Any pitfalls that you've said, like, this is what's doing it for me? What do we have here? Deirdre says, hey, Deirdre, hey! She says, loving the energy and getting motivated to do all the things I do for everyone else for me, throwing procrastination out of the vocabulary. Thanks, Rolonda, and the fabulous folks here. Look, you're getting some attention on that. Yes, HBCU all the way. Fear, fear, fear. Yes, y'all, absolutely. This was my number one. I made a little list of things. Where's my little list of the 5 pick? Can y'all see that? The 5, look at me trying to share a screen. Y'all think I'm doing something, don't you? Okay, I'm learning new stuff too. 5 pitfalls that keep us stuck. Absolutely fear. And you know, when people say fear is false evidence appearing real, I don't agree with that. I'm sorry, I don't, because I think fear is a very real thing. I mean, fear is something that saves our tuchuses when we're in trouble. It tells us to run or to fight or fright or stay still. Fear is very real. But I think, like, as an artist, one of the things that we learn is how to take that energy and turn it into performance. And so it's okay to have a little fear, because that means your performance is going to be that much tighter. And also, I say that when you're prepared, you're no longer scared. So one of the things I like to do is just, get, whether it's the mindset, because that's a lot of what's going to help us reinvent ourselves in this time. I mean, we are living around and amidst energy that is uncertain, fearful. I mean, people are scared to death right now. So you can't, even though fear is okay to get you motivated, I mean, I think sometimes the things that we don't want in life are a wonderful opportunity for us to clarify, identify, and articulate what we do want in life. And I think that it's most important to focus on what you do want. Half the time you feel bad is because of what you're thinking. Stinking thinking is the death of every man and woman. So think of something that empowers you. It's a mindset. Excuses is another thing. I don't have the time. Well, we just took care of that one for you. How's that working for you? You got plenty of time. I am working, I think, harder now than I was before the pandemic, because I am creating. We are in a creative mode. And I don't have the excuse of I don't have the time right now. I'm taking the time to fill it up to do the things that I creatively want to do, and things that may turn into viable opportunities. You never know what could happen, and you never know who's watching. The story about me getting the talk show is another example of, you keep doing what you're doing and don't be surprised who's watching you. You never know who's watching you, who could give you that valuable opportunity. I mean, I never thought about doing a talk show. Now that's what most people know me for, by one name. A lot of people don't even know I have a last name, but that's what they know me for. And that was because somebody said, you can do this, Rolonda. My comedy career. Kim Coles, my buddy, I love her to death. I told her in a secret one time, I would love to do stand-up comedy. I used to do the stand-up comedy, with the audience in between the commercial breaks with my show, and I just loved it. And she said, okay. So when she got married, she asked me to be a bridesmaid, and they threw this big roast for her, and all these comedians, I mean, real comedians, got up there. Queen Latifah was there, and Erica Alexander, and all. And they got up there, and she says, I need you up. And I said, I'm not getting up there. She said, you told me you wanted to do this. Be careful what you tell people, because they're going to be accountable to you in this group. And so I got up. She said, I know you got 5 minutes of funny. I got up there, and 17 minutes later, a star was born. I loved it. I could not stop. I loved it. And I didn't know you were supposed to write something. I didn't know there was a light that went off to tell you to shut up. I just kept going. Kim was on the ground. And from then on, I took workshops. I went on to be on on the stage of Caroline's on Broadway, the Laugh Factory, the Comedy Store. And let me tell you, I had a bunch of shows that were planned before the pandemic hit. We got to reinvent comedy now. I just did a whole act right here online that's going to be used in a comedy show that a bunch of us are doing to raise money for the city of Los Angeles. That's going to be on May 29th. So now all of us are learning how to reinvent ourselves as comedians. How do you do jokes and deliver timing and the rest with nobody in the room, nobody laughing, nobody clapping, nobody roasting you or throwing out those lines? We have to reinvent our talent. Money is also another excuse. A lot of people say, well, I don't have the money to do the things I dream of doing. But if you stop and you added up how many Starbucks you had that month, those shoes that hurt your feet anyway, that dinner, you know you did not need all that fat, and you don't need that many drinks. All that money could have added up and you could have invested in a workshop. I think that the excuses about investing in ourselves, the lack of learning and investing in ourselves is what keeps us stuck in a rut. Also, boredom. Oh, that is the worst thing. I don't know about y'all, but I cannot take being bored. Woo, it's like hell for me. I cannot take being bored. And I think that's why I'm so creative and constantly reinventing. I just can't take boredom. I can't do it. And that's one of the things that keeps me stuck, why I'm always trying to stay creative, whether I'm reading a book to a child. I would love to write a children's book. I saw a guy who's on my Facebook page who made the most adorable, he is an animator, and he drew his 2 children. And I got on there and I said, dude, this is an animation waiting to happen. Can I please be the mother? And then, and who knows, by the end of this pandemic, he may be on television. Why not? Why not? Animation just won the biggest short film, so why not? And also naysayers. That's another thing that gets us, is when we listen to other people. And I think that that's one of the things that gets in our heads. I mean, all it takes is one person to go, really? I don't know if you can do that. And with something that simple. So I say, don't tell people what you're doing half the time. Just go on and step out and do what you've got to do. Do what you've got to do. Any questions, reinventionists? See, that's our new name, reinventionists. Any questions at all? Okay. Let me show you one of the things that I am going to be doing, and we're going to keep our website, our webinars going. Let me get back over here. Y'all listen, have you seen this lady, Tabitha? Have y'all seen Tabitha Brown? I adore this woman. She has been at home. She's a vegan. She cooks vegan food because that's her business. That's her business. Little Southern girl from Atlanta. She had me roasting a slab of yam the other day and put guacamole on it. I thought I was going to swallow my tongue. Now, I'm a meat eater, but that was delicious. And people are reinventing the way they're eating now because of the coronavirus. I hear we're going to have a big meat shortage coming up. And now all of a sudden, this lady's getting a lot of attention. She was on Instagram doing her little cooking with her family. And do you know that one of the largest talent agencies, CAA, just called her and wants to represent her? When this cloud lifts, remember Tabitha, because Tabitha Brown will probably be the next Rachel Ray. Why? The casting directors are at home. The producers are at home. We're in a situation where people are cooking. They want their immunity systems up. They want to lose weight so you don't walk out of here a hunk. Because you go, what was that we saw online the other day? You're going to walk out of this pandemic a hunk, a chunk, or a drunk. But everybody's concerned about what they're ingesting, what their families are eating, and especially the minority communities that have been hit so hard with this pandemic because we aren't as healthy as we should be, let's face it. But Tabitha got a job during coronavirus, so don't underestimate her. Remember last year when we were talking about this lady? She had just signed a big contract. She's in her 90s. and signed a big contract to be a top model with WME, ICM, top model, reinventing themselves. It is never, ever, ever too late. I was going through all these things. Look at all these different me's. Isn't this the craziest thing? You just never know. There I am on Inside Edition. Remember that little girl? You think about all the things that could have had. Look, Inside Edition, Rolanda. I remember I went to the big convention where they sell TV shows, and when I drove up, they surprised me with this big balloon. I was working on Inside Edition and Rolanda at the exact same time, and that was really nice. Being on a talk show was amazing. We were outranking some of the biggest people, including Phil Donahue, Kathy Lee Gifford, all of them. Regis, we were doing great back then. Got to meet people like James Brown, who asked me to marry him, by the way, Tanya. Then I came and started being an actress. That's me on Sister Sister. Then a comedian. Podcasting. Well, I knew I could ask questions, for goodness sake. So when you change your careers, how do you stay out there so you stay relevant in the fields that you are known for or love? Well, maybe I wasn't getting on TV, but nobody could stop me from doing my own interviews and using all my resources. So podcasting. I was doing podcasting long before anybody knew what a podcast was. But it was my gifts. Your gifts are going to drag you where you have to go. Once you identify them, honey, it's on and popping. Behind that mic for On the Next Judge Joe. That was my friend. Then I went on to do divorce court because I was in that lane of divorce stuff. Voiceovers, commercials, all of that. And then, of course, Dr. Maya Angelou, who I absolutely adore. And even from heaven was one of my best interviews and endorsed my book and going on and on and on. My retreat, this is what I want to talk about. Now, we're going to keep on, we will keep on talking and doing webinars and the rest, but I also want you to know that if there is any part of you that wants to work a little deeper and to find out, to dig and find out what that gift is of yours or where you want to take your next step, if you started that book, how do you do that? If you're starting to get, a lot of us have brands and you don't even know you have a brand. How do you work that social media? And so many of us, a lot of people of a certain age are afraid of social media. I say, let's tame that beast. I'm offering a Rolonda's Reinvention Retreat, which is a separate 6-week course. I'll keep doing my free webinars. You always have my podcast to go and get some good stuff. But in my retreat, I really want to really hone in on really what reinvention is all about and all the steps that it takes. It takes a lot of strategy, a lot of mindset, a lot of determination. It also takes some action plans. And it takes a lot of, good tips and tools to use along the way. It's a mindset reinvention and recreation. I keep looking at the word recreation and I always see recreation. I always see playtime. It's time to have fun because listen, if it ain't fun, I ain't doing it. That's the way I look at it. It's got to be fun. When you're looking at the E in retreat, enthusiasm, I love that word because the root of the word is theos, which is God. And when we are enthusiastic about something, you best believe the spirit is in there. We were talking about this time last year when I was launching Rolonda's Reinvention Retreat, and I got a handful of really good clients I'm working with. Gina's one of them, and I'm so blessed. But it has been a wonderful trek. When last year when I launched it, I thought I was going to get a webinar of 30 people. And thank God I didn't, because this type of course is more of an intimate course where I can spend time with you once a week. It's a 6-week course. And we will have action plans. You'll have homework. I'm a tough taskmaster, I will admit. But, what is that they say? Faith without works is dead. You do have to take some action plans, and that's what's part of it. But the enthusiasm, when you're excited about something, the way that we were last year, who knew, Cassie, that this time, a year from last year, we would be in the middle of a pandemic when reinvention means everything right now. So I sometimes think that God might have been teeing me up to help people at this time who want to find a little more clarification on what their gifts are, a little more determination on what their actions are going to be, more visualization of the life that they want to have when this cloud lifts. Testimony. It's a lot about your story. What is your story? Why are you doing what you are doing? I mean, that kind of helps us understand the why. I think, you know, I'm going to tell you, entrepreneurship, it's a mother. It ain't easy. I mean, you have your high days, your good days, your bad days, your good years. Sometimes you have horrible years, but it's up to you to make that happen when you're a self-employed, home-based entrepreneur. And your story is what's going to drive the why you do things. My story is, look how many times I've recreated myself or reinvented myself, because I don't like working for people. I'm sorry. I'm not a 9-to-5 person. And I really like that about myself, that I have the courage to reinvent, because it saved me and it's kept me happy and kept me free. I haven't worked for anybody for more than 20 years. And that was because when I ended that show, I said, I'm going to let my gifts carry me where I've got to go. And that's what's happened up to that point. We're going to get results in my retreat. That you will be able to track and get results. Execution. Why are you going to get results? Because you're going to execute the plan we come up with. You're going to be very clear about what it is that you love more than anything right now to make happen for your life, the gift you're going to give yourself, the investment you make in yourself to get, and you're going to execute the action plans so that you get those results. Accountability. Yep. Now listen, I think we got about 5 writers that we know about right now in this group. And I think that the accountability is wonderful, because one of the things I want to establish is a group, a family group, a tribe, however you call that. And in my retreat, which is the 6-week program, I want us to really bond as a tribe. And I want to start a private Facebook group, and you can ask any questions. You can help each other. You know, I've been really blessed to be around people, and I think you guys are the same way, where we help each other. I mean, pulling this webinar together and pulling my retreat together, I've had so much help from friends who do this. But for those of us who are speakers or comedians or people who've been in front of a crowd or want to get in front of the crowd, this is the new normal. This is the new normal. And with all of that, you're going to have transformation. I promise you're going to see a major, huge change, not only in your mindset, maybe in your vision. You might even change your streams of income based upon what you discover. But the transformation and the triumphs. Let me tell you, I just reinvented myself one more time today that I didn't tell y'all about. I'm going to tell you now. An hour before I started this program, I was in a test trying to get certification, and I passed it. So y'all, I am now a certified virtual presenter. Whoever knew there was one? But now on my website, when I'm giving presentations like the Rolonda Reinvention Retreat, when I'm giving speeches, because right now this might be a graduation speech like this, you never know. That certification on my website next to my little face and stuff says that I have been tested by e-speakers, that my equipment is together, I know how to work my stuff. It just gives me certification that somebody who hires me knows that I got my stuff together. Who knew? Who knew? So those of you who are on the book tours and starting your speaking tours, that testimony that we're talking about in retreat, that story might be that book. It might be that podcast. It might be that speaking engagement. You may have a story that somebody desperately needs to hear. Understand that whatever your gift is, it wasn't put there by accident. And when God gives you a gift, he gives you the batteries to go with it. But you've got to step out and take that chance, and it will be well worth the effort. I have worked with people, Gina, I'm so proud of Gina. And Gina, you made me feel so, let me take me out of share. You made me feel so happy when at the start of this retreat, this little webinar, you said how happy you were. Did y'all hear how happy and enthusiastic she was? Hey, Jorge, come on in. Hey, Dr. EJ, how are you? Renata, come on in, you guys. Gina, you made my heart soar. The enthusiasm that you had, the joy that you said, that, I mean, this is totally different than 5 weeks ago, right? Totally different. So it's a joy I love watching that light bulb go off over somebody's head when they really tap into what their gift is and they really step out with the action plans to make it happen. Absolutely wonderful. I had another young man, Mark, who took one of my voiceover classes, and he got 2 auditions. One of the casting directors, he'd never been in voiceovers before. One of the casting directors for an audio book said, the only reason we're not choosing you is because the octave was a little different than what we need for our book, but you don't have to audition again. We're going to call you right there. I'm like, wait a minute, this doesn't even happen to me. But he jumped in that thing and he took it by storm. I have a young entrepreneur, his mama sent him to me. He's going to find his way. Julia, where's Julia? Julia's in there. Julia was one of my clients. Julia started a baby bib business. And Julia, how many sales did you get on that first sale? I think she got 24 sales on that first one. But she set up her whole baby bib line and did her thing. How many people have we seen? Miss Thelma down in Charlotte, North Carolina, heard me talking on Facebook about in the beginning of the pandemic, I didn't have a mask. That lady, you know, she's the lady down south that makes everybody's wedding dresses and their little prom dresses and stuff. She said, I've got all this material. Let me make some masks. She started making masks for her community and her church. And the next thing I knew, she'd sent me masks here in California from Charlotte. And she had started a new business. She said, she's 60 something. She said, I don't know how to set up a website. She got her daughter involved. Mother-daughter business now. She's setting up, taking the sales. She's cutting to this. She's making to that. And they've got a new business. Things are happening. We just talked about Tabitha on Instagram. Now got signed with CAA. And you just think about just getting out there in social media. Honey, listen, I know you're scared of social media. We're going to tame that beast and make it your friend and help you be able to be out there and perpetuate your brand as well. Yes. Oh, and listen, and then I got one little kid that I'm working with. He's 5 years old. He's an actor and he wants to do voiceover. So I said, well, come on, little man. We got a little dream for you. You be my little monkey. And it is just amazing. If I had known about that career years ago, y'all probably would have never seen my face. That's how good that career is. And that's something that's still happening now. So people are doing that. But at this moment, as we're thinking, just take a second and just close your eyes and think about, what is that thing for you? What is that thing that if you knew you could knock that ball out the park, what would it be? And I want you to see yourself. If it's walking up there getting the Emmy, if it's launching the podcast, what is it? What is that thing for you that would make you so happy and your heart soar? Yeah, I see a lot of smiling faces out there. That's what I'm saying. And whatever that feeling is that you're tapping into right now, when you feel uncertain or you feel unsure or you get a little shaky in this time, I want you to tap right back into that energy, because it's all a mindset and you know what you believe and what you feel and what you attract to yourself. That has a lot to do with it too. Anybody want to share something they saw? What'd you see in your dream? Nicole, you were smiling, girl. I want to know what you were thinking. What was going on, girl?
Hi, can you hear me?
Of course we do, yes.
Awesome. Thank you for the chance to share. It's pretty simple for me. I've always honestly dreamt of doing voiceovers. I have a background in journalism and worked at WEAA radio station back in the day at Morgan State, and I taught for 10 years at Seton Hall University in their communications department. I was an adjunct professor and taught public speaking, foundations and oral rhetoric, so on and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
I work in publishing by day, but I've always loved the idea, the dream of doing voiceovers. I used to be the voice, if you will, at my church in New Jersey. I live in Maryland now, but I'm from New Jersey. And at my home church in New Jersey, I used to be the church announcer for many years, like all my life.
That's the star. That's a star.
People always talk to me about how I used to do the announcements at the church, and I did a bunch of voiceover opportunities there when the church choir made different albums and during different plays and so on and so forth. I've done voiceovers for a lot of informal and personal organizations that I've been a part of, but it's always been a dream of mine to do it professionally.
Yeah, and stretch it out. And you know, when you have a voice, your voice speaks to you. Your voice speaks to you. And like I say, your gifts are going to drag you where you have to go. And I tell you, the real key to voiceover work is not really the quality of your voice. It's really how well you can act. It's a lot of good acting in it. And that's what we're learning, right, Gina? Gina's going to be big in animation. So listen, you guys, this is what I'm talking about offering here. I'm going to be doing ROLONDA'S Reinvention Retreat. And like I said, it's a 6-week program, and we're going to meet once a week, and it's a group program. And we're going to go through identifying your greatest desire. What is it? Like, is it the voiceover? Is it the book? Is it what is that thing that you want to launch off? Or what type of action plans are we going to have? We're going to go through. Now, let me see. Am I sharing this again here? Can you see this as a share? Or did I stop my share here? What did I do? Share screen. Let's go and take a look here. I'm so excited for you. Nicole, you need to get that voice class, girl.
Working on it.
Yeah. Okay. So the Reinvention Retreat. And you know what? If you just want to do voiceovers in the Reinvention Retreat, I could work with you separately, because I have a lot of voiceover people who want to do voiceover work. And so that would be one course. But for the reinvention, for those of you who are, or it may be voice or something else that you want to tap into, I think the real thing to do is we've already discussed why reinvention is such a necessary tool. But some of the things that we'll talk about, and it'll be a lot more than this, but the main things is just the power of your intention and the positive thinking. Some of the things that we've talked about today, that visualization that took you into that space where you actually believed it. I can't even begin to tell you how many things that I've accomplished that I visualized first. I mean, whether it was acting or the comedy, lots of writing that book. I wanted to get an award, some award for that book. And then I did. I got the B.B. Moore Campbell Award. And I know a lot of that is because it was my intention. It was a lot to do with the intentions that I had. Tapping into your authentic gifts. Remember, a lot of that stuff is stuff we did as a kid. I can remember, y'all, I used to talk so much as a kid. My daddy would give me a microphone and a tape recorder, and he'd say, go in your room and tell the story, make up all the voices, give me the sound effects, and we'll listen to it after dinner. Sure enough, that's what I would do. And what do I do today? I go into a little room, I make up voices, I tell stories, and that's what I do today. I have pictures of me on typewriters from a kid. There's some innate gifts that you have that you forgot about, that you totally forgot about. You've been so busy taking care of children and husbands and schools and the community, you forgot about yourself there. How do we face fear and adversity and do it anyway? How do we keep our faith in ourselves and touchstones? I still remember the New York City subway token I used to carry around as a kid, wore it around my neck since I was 12 years old. And it eventually got me to New York City. It said on one side, New York City, and on the other side, it said, good for one fare. Also, how to up your social media game. That is so important, y'all, for any kind of branding success or getting in front of the eyeballs of your customers or your readers or whoever that is. And this is the main thing, to step out with a strategic plan with some tangible deadlines and goals and some accountability. That's what I'm talking about. I think sometimes we can talk a lot about stuff, but we actually need action plans to get us out there. And I think that that is most important. What steps will you take? What actions will you take to make those moves to get closer and closer to your goal? So, why do you take this course? And it's 6 weeks. Yeah, you got to start somewhere. And I believe that, and I hope you feel that this is a safe space. I'm certainly not going to judge your thoughts or what you want to do. Unlike some people in our family sometimes go, why in the world you want to do that? You better have a backup plan. Why? What you mean you want to? Listen, I remember when I told somebody I wanted to be a writer, and my daddy looked at me, he said, a writer? He said, you take that R out of writer and put an A, you got waiter. I was like, Daddy. He was like, how you going to afford the typewriter? How are you going to afford Now with a book on Barnes & Noble shelves and being known as a journalist, I think that writing kind of came through. Thank God I didn't listen to my own father. They mean well. They mean well. But sometimes we just got to get them out of our heads. Invest in yourself. And also, I love the idea of having accountability partners and a tribe and a team, because I'm a firm believer that team means together, each achieves more. I really do believe that. So those are the things that I'm doing. I'm offering the course. It's $19.97, but if you sign up in full, I'm taking $200 off tonight. And also, if you get the full course tonight, you will get, I'll give you an extra hour, just one-on-one outside the group. Now, I'm not looking for a huge group of people, y'all, because I want us to be able to have a close-knit group where we can help each other, listen to each other, and I can spend the kind of time that I need with you. And like I said, if you spend the $17.99 or $95, what it is now, the $200 off, I will also give you an extra hour one-on-one with me. I'll even throw in a copy of Destiny Lingers. How about that? And you can get a free subscription to Rolonda On Demand, my podcast. I know that times are tough right now. That's why I want to keep the price down. And I also offer a 4-time payment. I call it 4 easy payments. That will break down to $499.25. And I hope it's something you'll consider. You're welcome to call me. I'm going to still be doing free webinars, but if you really want to roll up your sleeves and take an action plan, I promise you, you know you're not going to be in the same place that you are 6 weeks from the time that we start. I would like to start my course starting off in June. I'm looking at the 5th of June, which is a Wednesday. Now, of course, this is going to have to do with, after the course members come together, what works for everybody's schedule, that will always be flexible. But it'll be an hour once a week, and then we'll do some live webinars if you have questions in our private Facebook group. And like I said, if you sign up all in one, you get the $200 off, you get the book, you get the podcast, you get me for an extra hour one-on-one. You get me. What can I say? You might want to start a comedy career. You might want to start teaching. You might want to be a certified virtual presenter and start getting your platform together. I tell you, reinvention, it seemed kind of a daunting thing last year. Now everybody understands what reinvention is. And if there was ever a time, now is the time. And I'm going to tell you, I'm lucky that I have the time to spend with you. I'm really excited that I can have the time to actually spend with you and get you associated with some resources that can help you, the good educative things, as I call it, infotainment. We're going to have information and we're going to have fun, because if it ain't fun, we're not doing it. Gina, I'm going to see you in class coming up. Anybody have any questions? Anything you want to say? Have you gotten anything out of today's webinar? Good stuff. And if there's anything that you want to talk about in the next webinar, remember these pitfalls that we want to get over that keep us stuck. We can do something about that. Daryl, you got ready to write on that book, man? So yes. Anybody else want to share anything else? 2 participants raise their hand. Where are you? Where's the participant raising their hand? Tanya, go, talk to me. Hey, Tanya.
Hey, how are you? Hi, everybody.
I'm great. Hey.
So I think since being home, of course, I'm becoming a better cook, but my first love, I'm a journalist first. Love is music. And so just before the pandemic, one of my guests who was on my podcast had a music workshop, and I took that workshop, and it just opened up something in me that I've had in me that I haven't really exercised in a long time. So definitely want to tap into that. I mean, there's so many things I want to do now. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So many things that I couldn't do or couldn't think about when I was running the streets.
Running the streets. Yeah. It's, you know, I one of the things that just jazzes me so much is when I'm talking to somebody and they have all of these dreams that they've kept quiet. They've never had time to talk about it. It seems silly. Nobody wants to hear it. And then they have a time that they have set aside just for themselves so they can talk honestly with a friend, have all the support in the world. And when they get that out, like you just said, when I get my music out, when I get my book out, when I get my voice hitting the rafters, can you imagine the feeling of that? I mean, I applaud you, but you know, a lot of times we have these gifts and we don't even know that's what our dream is. We don't even know that would make us so happy.
I like writing. So when they gave us the music, the tracks to write on, and I wrote, that was just so inspiring because I haven't done it in so long. There was a time when the music was my whole life. Like I couldn't do anything without music. It was to a point where I'd be locked up in my room creating, and my parents would leave the food outside the door. Yeah, they knew not to come in to my lab while I was creating, and I want to get back to that. That's what.
I think there's that happy spot. I don't know what you call it, but that happy spot that the soul longs to get back into. I can remember last year feeling, you know, have you ever felt like sometimes your soul needs a little bit more nourishment? I was just feeling like, I don't know if I need meditation or I need something, but I studied meditation. I took art classes to be closer to my dad, who was an artist, rest him in heaven. And I was shocked. I took a painting class. I didn't know I could paint that well. I didn't know. But it was me trying to be closer to my dad and try something new and just to learn something new about yourself, I think is just amazing. I mean, listen, if times come to certain times, I'll be selling painting too, start another career. Hey, Martina. Hey, girl. How are you? Thank you so much, Tanya. I really appreciate that.
Hey, how are you?
You, my darling.
So great to see you.
Great to see you too.
You know, you said something, you know, my dad also, and I think I remember I was maybe 13 when I said I wanted to be an author or a writer. And my dad said similar things. First of all, I said, what about a lawyer? And he's like, lawyers are crooks. And then I said, well, what about an author? He said, writers are starving artists, and on and on and on. I mean, there was nothing. And so I remember being so confused, and, you know, I landed in diversity and inclusion. Great, wonderful. But my heart stayed on 2 things, inventing and writing.
Wow.
And, you know, sometimes I feel like I've lost the skill, even though I've written so many different things. So I have definitely started the inventing situation. I think I told you a few months ago, I got a coach to help me work on prototypes and my first invention. And so that's hopefully going to be launching soon. But the writing thing has escaped me. I mean, I've gotten to a point where I felt, so I think that my question is, like, for you, like, I know that you had that similar experience. When was it that you decided to write that book? And I know, you know, I don't know how much time you have, but when did you decide to write that book? And was that the first book? And how long did it take you from the time your dad said that?
Oh gosh. I started the book. Gosh, when did I start the book? I think I took about 10 years to get the whole book done. But it started out as a hobby. As I was saying earlier, I would take it when I go to the beach. Would go to the beach in the summer in North Carolina, and I would take a book to write when my friends took a book to read. And at the end of our beach fun, we'd go and pop some oysters and drink some beer, and they'd say, read what you wrote. And then people got invested in my characters, Destiny and Chase. What's going to happen? What's going to happen? And then I didn't think much of it. Then I said, well, maybe I should take a workshop, because Dr. Maya Angelou had read it, and she said, I'm very angry with you because you're finishing it. I want this story to go on and on and on. And so I said, I know I have something. It must speak to humanity. It's about race and class and love, an interracial love story with kids who couldn't be together because of Jim Crow, later got to be together. But it was when I got the encouragement from people, and when I joined a group. I think what we're hearing here a lot is people who are joining workshops and furthering their education in their dream, desire, gift, are going to benefit more. Because when I got around my accountability partners and my team and a supportive group of writers, and we turned in 2 to 10, 20 pages a week, and we read it and we critiqued each other, it blew my mind. And even my people in the writing class were like, what's going to happen next? And that was the little encouragement I needed. Writing is a very isolated job, y'all. It is isolation, and you don't have somebody to turn to and say, well, how was that? Did I do okay? You know, you really have to trust your gut and keep it going. But I'm going to tell you something. It is one of the most rewarding things I have ever done in my entire life. Yes, I've done a talk show. Yes, I've done some Emmy Award-winning work in news, but I'm going to tell you something. Writing that book, and mine was in a creative nonfiction. So, you know, I had gone through a miserable divorce, so I threw that in there. And it was also part of healing, you know, so it was a personal journey for me that really got completed because I had the encouragement. I took the workshops, I stayed focused, I had action plans. When you're working with a workshop, like when you work with Rolonda's Reinvention Retreat, we're not just gonna say goodbye and I see you next week and we give gab. We're gonna have real action plans to go through, no matter what your dream goal is. All of these plans, you gotta have something to step out on, or else you just don't have any structure to it. It'll just be all willy-nilly. So whether it's turning in something for the next group or doing some research, I'm gonna tell you, if you don't jump on YouTube is a university, y'all. You ever wanna know anything about anything, go on YouTube. Just my learning to be a better virtual presenter. Listen, I'm a speaker. I can do many things in front of crowds. Well, listen, we've got to reinvent that now. We've got to reinvent that. Some of you may say, I want to be a presenter, but I need to learn how to get my camera presence on. I don't know how to social mediaize myself. These are things that are important no matter what you do. Martita, I'm not sure if that answered your question, but.
Yes, it did. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. It's so good to see you. And thank you. And listen, and Martita sent me a young woman who is making major strides in her reinvention. I can't even, it's just amazing. And you're going to hear a lot about her. She's going to be a real leader. I'm really proud of her. Okay, Scott. Scott's got something to say. Hey, Scott, how you doing today? Can you hear me, Scott?
Yeah, I'm doing pretty good. How are you?
I'm doing great. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Listen, I'm a full-time voice actor myself, and I reinvented my career. Worked in television, worked in radio, and then 8 years now, I've been a full-time voice actor. And I just wanted to thank you. You have been so positive tonight. And it's all about positivity from within to be able to do the things we want to do. You know, I reinvented my career. You've reinvented your career. But it all comes from what's inside you. And COVID-19 has really, it's had me down. I mean, I've been in quarantine now for about 65 days. And I just needed this little positivity boost tonight. So find that positivity within yourself. and you can literally, the sky is the limit. You can do anything you put your mind to.
We love you, Scott. Yes. Yes. You got to stay positive. You've got to. You know why? Because I'm one of those people, I really believe in the law of attraction. I really believe that if you are in a positive place, you will attract those things to you. If you're down in the dumps, I mean, listen, we're all had the rug pulled out from under us. You either climb or cry. Cry or climb. Now's the time. That's my new mantra. And, you know, and Scott, that is, I appreciate that so very much. And let me tell you, you best believe my workshops are going to be just like that. High positive energy, supporting each other. And listen, I don't have all the answers, but somebody else in our team might have a suggestion or an answer. I mean, these are moments by moments that we figure out as we go. And as one thing works and you build on the next thing and you build on the next thing. And there's nothing like getting that confidence when everybody's doing the, what is this we're doing now here? We get our little, Michelle started something here. Our Michelie started something. Yes, we get our little thing. But that's what's going to make the difference. And let me tell you guys, I'm reinventing myself too. I mean, I'm right here with you. Like I said, I just became a certified virtual presenter today. Now, what does that mean? What does that mean? What does that look like? How will I walk out of this COVID-19 cloud as the best virtual presenter I can possibly be? What does that look like? What is that going to be? So this is a great time, I think. As bad as it is, you know, crap makes gardens grow, people. You can't have that beautiful rose bushes without a little manure every once in a while. And trust and believe, this has been a tough one. We're certainly not looking the other way from all the horrific stuff that's going on with coronavirus. But this really has been a wonderful time to reset, to reevaluate, to retry, and to recreate and to reinvent. I want you to be one of my reinventionists. And we're going to start this workshop. We're going to start this journey, this transformational journey is what it's going to be, starting in the beginning of June. Like I said, right now I'm aiming for June 5th. And I don't need 50 million people. I just need a few really good souls to be part of this. And if this is something you're interested in, then please let me know. I'm going to put some information here for you on the little chat. And also I want to encourage you, if you need a one-on-one phone call, because I know everybody doesn't want to talk out in front of the group, you might have some questions, you feel free, let's get together and talk. Take my email address down. It's rolonda@rolonda.com. Easy peasy. Rolonda@rolonda.com. ROLONDA, y'all. There's a O in the middle. Michelie says, encouragement is everything. My book has definitely healed me. It's about my near-death experience. My goodness. Actionable steps. Great voice, Scott. Yes, Scott, you do have a great voice. You can actually climb and cry. Just keep it moving. Ain't nothing with a little bit of tears here and there. It's the antifreeze of the soul. Is that right? Okay, so let me pull together some info. Anybody got any more questions? Any more questions before we go? Any more? Let me see if there are any more hands raising here. All right, Scott, Tanya, we got everybody. Okay, all right. Okay, so is anybody thinking about they're interested in being part of the reinvention retreat coming up? Or let me tell you this also, I've had a couple of people who have sent me their children. You know, these kids have graduated and they are stumped right now. Their jobs are furloughed and they're trying to figure out what their direction is. And I've had a couple of mamas. Look, Joy Reid over there at MSNBC said, could you please talk to my son who has a gorgeous voice. He wants to be an actor. He wants to be this. And yes, let me tell you, wait, hold on 1 second. But I was talking with him. And I think that it's good to when, you know, because like my dad told me that stuff. Parents can be something, your family can be the worst thing. But when Auntie Rose, send the children to Auntie Rose, I got them. You know I got them. They'll be different in 6 weeks, trust and believe. Here's a number that you can call, you guys. Here's my number. Take this down. 310-870-3007. Okay? Mishley says, I'm really thinking of sending my son because he has wanted to do voiceovers for years. He is 20. Honey, send him on. I tell you, I tell people this all the time. If I had known about the voiceover work before my talk show and 50 million other things, y'all would have never seen me. Voiceover work is amazing. I worked at a job out of my closet the other day for 20 minutes, got paid. Okay. So these things are still going on. These are things that are still happening now. So that you can certainly get involved with because it's alive and you can get your own equipment. You can order it on Amazon, put some pillows in your closet and make it happen. Scott could probably tell you about that too. Absolutely. Okay, any more questions or anything before we head on up out of here? Anything else? Okay. All right, so listen. Once again, you've got my number. I think we're a small enough, private enough group that I don't have a problem with you calling me. If you call and I don't answer, leave a message. You know, I'll get right back with you and we can sit down and talk about what you personally need. Or let me tell you, this is a great gift to give somebody. It's $19.97, but I'm taking $200 off if you pay in full, and you're going to get an extra hour with me one-on-one outside the group, and you're going to get a private Facebook group, and you're going to get Destiny Lingers and free subscription to Rolonda on Demand. Micheline. And then also, for those of you who would rather stretch your money out, because I know dollars are tough right now, I have 4 easy payments. You can do that as well. And I can send that. Voiceover is about coaching, not the voice. You're right, Scott. It's all about acting, isn't it? I tell people, I say, you know, McDonald's has never sold a hamburger. McDonald's sells happiness. And if you like that smile, guess what? I get paid for the smile in my voice. Isn't that crazy? We don't sell insurance. We sell assurance in our voice. We've got you, Allstate. You know, and what's really fun is you talk about reinvention, even in the voiceover career. You know, when I started with voiceover first, I was doing Judge Joe Brown and Divorce Court. I was an announcer and a promo person. And back then in the late 90s, a lot of women didn't do promos, but because my voice had come from news and I had credibility with a voice, I got into that arena. But then I started reinventing myself in the voiceover arena. I was not only doing promos and announcing, I started doing animation. I'm Professor Wiseman on Curious George, Mary Sinclair on Lego's City Adventure. I'm on Netflix new, what's it called? Damn, it just flew out, see menopause. It just flew out of my head. Cannon Busters, that's it, on Netflix. I also do Madagascar. There's a lot. So there's so much to do in that one arena that will keep you so excited and so enthusiastic. It's just the best career in the world, I have to tell you. And Gina is one of my students. She's doing great. And we do practice. I mean, we do the work. You're going to be working. And I give you homework, and that's both for if you have a general idea of reinvention and you're looking for your gift, we can work on that. Or if you know you want to do voiceovers and you don't want to mess around, let's jump right on in and start working on some voiceovers. You let me know what you're interested in and we'll find out what the best fit is for you. Scott says, I started doing big shout out, auto spots. Now I do Guy Next Door commercials. You definitely have the Guy Next Door commercial, Scott. Promos, radio imaging, mostly all national. It's all about being able to reinvent yourself. That's so true. Daryl says, is there a link for payment for VO? Yes, there is. Let me just find it down here. Now I've got Miss Tabitha here. Let's get her out. Hold on one second. Now, the way I had planned this, and let me show you how we're going to work this. I'm going to do, hold on, I'm coming. I had a feeling that this was going to be a big VO group. do get work via an agent. No, let me tell you something. You don't even need an agent anymore. I'm going to help you find places where you can audition today. I tell you, I don't know if you heard this earlier, my student Mark came in. Mark went up for an audition for an audio book, got 2 auditions. One of the auditions, the casting director called him personally and said, "We love your voice. It's not good for this project, but you don't ever have to audition for us. We're going to call you right there." He's now going to be a big audiobook guy. So there are places that, yes, you can still, you don't have to be part of the union. You don't have to have an agent. I'm going to tell you, social media and the digital world has changed everything. We're doing everything from home. Our auditions, we're doing the work, and it doesn't cost a gazillion dollars. You can set up a studio in your closet. I'm going to teach you how to do all of that. We're going to get you ahead of the game. And if you want an agent and you're really good and you prove yourself, we'll get you in front of some agents too. Oh, let me do what I said I was going to do. Let me put this here. Now in the chat, I had a feeling this was going to happen, that I would have people who were mostly interested in voiceover. So I'm doing, whether you want the reinvention package or you want the voiceover package, let's just do it all for the same price. So $19.97, you're going to get 6 weeks of of a voice work. If you pay up front, you get $200 off. That's unbelievable. And you get an extra hour one-on-one with me, and the book, and the subscription to the podcast, and all of that good stuff. Like I said, also, we have another installment plan, 4 easy payments of $499.25. That's over, you got plenty of time to get your money together, plenty of time to get in that class. We're going to start in June, figure out which plan you want. And whether, like I said, you let me know. You might want to put in the notes, if you sign up tonight, put in the notes, I really am interested in reinvention, or I'm really interested in the voiceover, because I think they're going to be 2 different things. I got tons of people who want to do that voiceover work. And Scott and I'll tell you that it's one of the best careers around, and we don't blame you one bit. So look and check out and see which one you are interested in doing. Like I said, you've got my phone number. Did y'all get it down, or you need me to put it in the chat? Let me put it in the chat just in case. 310. And that's it. Voila. And remember, it's ROLONDA. When people send me ROLANDA an email, there's a lovely lady in the Netherlands who gets my email. We've become friends. That's crazy. Absolutely crazy. Okay, you got the link, Daryl? Good. Okay, did everybody else get the link? Can you see the links there? Michelle says, "You are seriously the best. I love your spirit. Love you." I love you back. I can't do it without you. Can't do it without you. You guys are so welcome. I love this, Michelle. I hope I'm saying your name right. Yeah, we got this. I'm going to do a TikTok next. See, I'm reinventing myself. I'm an old babe on TikTok. I'm going to let you know. Y'all, let me tell you something. I did a webinar the other day with somebody and forgot. I couldn't figure out where I'd put my wig. Life is so crazy. I was like, I had to do a bandana chronicle. I couldn't find my wig. You know how you have stuff, you put stuff down and you snatch it before you run out the house? My house is so discombobulated, I couldn't find my wig. There's something so wrong with that. Okay, y'all, we've been on here we're going on an hour and a half. I could sit here and talk to you all night. You know those workshops are going to be longer than an hour, but that's okay. We'll make it work. But I cannot thank you enough for tuning in and sticking with me. And I hope you'll tell friends and send them the link. We will have a replay of this if somebody else is interested in looking, or you tell somebody, girl, you need to sign up, or guy, you need to sign up, or honey, baby, kitty, whatever. You need to sign up for this thing. Check out what Rolonda's talking about. Try something new. Go for your passions. Don't be afraid to fail. It's a good, safe group, non-judgmental. We're going to have a great time. And in 6 weeks, I promise you, you will be in a totally different place. You know I mean that. You know I'll make that happen. So we might as well have some fun and maybe bust open some, we're going to move from all of the confusion and the doubt and the fear, and we're going to turn it into viable opportunities, profitable opportunities, perhaps, dreams come true, perhaps, all because you're going to take the time to really nurture your authentic gifts. So let's find them, let's pull them out, dust them off, get them ready, and get busy. And I'm going to say goodbye because it's time for dinner. What's for dinner, Joe?
Rolonda, if I could,
Yeah.
I don't have the link.
You
I see
don't?
others don't either.
Okay, I must have just given it to Daryl. Daryl, did those work for you? Okay, let's see how, I sent it to you privately. I didn't mean to do that. Okay, let's see. Everybody publicly. How do we do this? Let me see what we can see publicly.
Send it to everybody.
I thought I did. Let's see. But I still see Daryl up there. It says everybody publicly. Let's see, Daryl. Okay, wait a minute. Hold on. Everyone in meeting. There we go. We learning something every day. Don't mess with me. Hey, there we go. Okay. So that first one up there is the full payment. As I said, it was $19.97, but if you just go on and sign up today, it's $17.97, which is really good, y'all. I tried to make it so it's not too bad here. And like I said, once again, you're going to get the extra hour one-on-one with me. You're going to get a free copy, autographed copy of Destiny Lingers. You're going to get, what else are you going to get? You're going to get Rolonda On Demand subscription, or you're just going to have a great time. And then, of course, you can do 4 very easy payments. And we're not going to start until June, but like I said, I'm not going to do a ton of people. So it's going to fill up. I'm just looking for about 15 people, and that's plenty. And so it's going to fill up because we're going to keep doing these webinars and talking to people until June. And listen, 15 first or whatever comes first. That's what we're going to do. And we're going to get busy because this is an exciting time, and nothing makes me feel better than to make folks happy and to break some news and educate you and pull some good stuff out of you. And this is also going to be about self-care too, y'all, because it's all about really taking care of ourselves. And it starts with taking care of our dreams and desires. And so here we are. So with that note, I love you. It's 5:32. It's time to go. East Coast, West Coast, everybody, I appreciate you so much. Please share the word, get on social media, say y'all need to go to Rose webinar because I'll be doing another one next week. But tell people, go and sign up, go to rolonda.com and say, girl, put your name down on that thing. You crazy, man. You better put your name on there and get Rolonda's webinar and come on and help me out and spread the word. So have a wonderful night. I appreciate you very much. Stay safe and keep dreaming big. Okay. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night. Good night. So good to see y'all. Bye-bye.
Take care.
You too, honey. Thank you so much. Great to talk to you.
Absolutely.
All right. Great. Love you guys. Cassie, I forgot the poem. Wait a minute, unmute you. All right, unmute.
Mute. Okay. Okay. I had to pull it back up. Okay. The name of this is, okay. It's coloring outside the line. It says, I won't color inside the lines of my life for you. Won't let you determine what I can or can't do. Not how I can act or what I can say. Not how I can sing or what I can play. Because I am me, I am full and complete. Not a bit of my life am I willing to cheat. I embrace it all, I enjoy every bite. There's no black and white, there's no wrong or right. I just can't be tamed, you've come to find. Nothing will harness any part of my mind. I'm so outspoken, you've come to see. Won't let anybody be the boss of me. Can't follow your rules on how I should act or dress or talk, as a matter of fact. I'm made from a mold that's been broken to pieces. I'm done with restraints, won't be led by your leashes. I'll scribble so bold on each page that I'm given. Won't slow down my roll, can't help that I'm driven. My canvas may not be the most perfect you see, but I'm living my life, so it's perfect to me.
Kathy, that is beautiful. That was great. That is really good. We should send I mean, I don't know if you want to send the poem out, but that would be a nice poem for all of us, you know, people who've signed up for the Reinvention Sea. Or next Wednesday, will you open us by doing that? What do you think, guys? I think that'd be a good poem. Yeah, and we'll start, because it sets the tone. It's really the tone of what we're talking about, too. Okay. So next Wednesday, and Cassie, I totally forgot. I'm so sorry. I didn't make a post-it note to myself, but you got a good practice in.
Okay.
Alyssa, did you have fun today?
I did. I always have fun. You're just such a dynamic energy. It's amazing.
Good. Alyssa, did you have fun? Wait, you did?
I did. Sorry, I have 3 kids who are,
Well, you look so calm. You don't look like you have 3 kids running around. You look too young to have 3 kids.
I'm going to reinvent by going back to work.
Well, you know what? I get a lot of people who say, I really want to make my spouse happy and proud of me. You know, I don't know what that is. I guess because everybody's trying to contribute. So I don't know. But some people I find, I'm not married, so I don't know that. But I do find a lot of people who, I want to make my kids proud of me, or I want them to see me doing something, you know, like that. So listen, guys, next Wednesday we'll be doing it again. If you have any questions, you've got my phone number, you've got my email, hit me up, and let's rock and roll. Alyssa, I'm proud of you. You stayed to the very end.
Thanks. You can hear it.
I hear you. Oh, honey, listen, that's a blessing. I'd give it to you mothers. Lord, I'll start reading Curious George soon to give you a break. All right, guys. See you later. Have a good night. Bye-bye.
Take care, love. Bye-bye.
See you.